Hello and welcome to my latest video. Now, as you can see, this video is another top 10 born by country. Okay, so this time we are featuring the top 10 Cuban born boxers of all time in my new rankings. So let us begin the countdown at number 10, where we find Eladio Valdez, okay, the former flyweight, otherwise known as Black Bill. Now, Eladio Valdez, okay, beat 2 world champions. He scored 6 wins against champions, and Valdez beat no Hall of Fame fighters, nor did he win any fights against Hall of Famers. Now, in title fights, Eladio Valdez had no world title fights, he made no title defences, and he scored no title fight KOs. He did score 20 knockouts in his career in total, and Eladio Valdez was never pound for pound rated, and therefore was also never pound for pound number 1 rated. He also scored no wins against pound for pound fighters, and scored no wins against pound for pound number 1 fighters, and in world titles won, Eladio Valdez captured no world titles, no lineal titles, and no undisputed titles. What he did do was fight lots of contenders multiple times. Okay, he does have a very good resume, a very tough resume down at flyweight, Eladio Valdez. Good morning, Martin. Good to see you, buddy. Hope you're well, pal. So from number 10, Eladio Valdez, we go to number 9. Okay, number 9 is a fighter called Kid Tenero. Now, Kid Tenero individually beat 5 world champions. He scored 6 wins against champions. And Kid Tenero beat 4 Hall of Fame fighters individually, scoring 4 wins against Hall of Famers overall. Oh, you'll have to see, Martin. Kid Tenero scored no title fight wins, no title defences, and no title fight KOs, and Tenero scored 25 knockouts. He was never pound for pound rated, so obviously was never pound for pound number 1 rated, and he scored 4 wins against pound for pound fighters, and Kid Tenero scored 1 win against a pound for pound number 1 fighter. And in world titles, okay, Kid Tenero captured no world titles, no lineal titles, and no undisputed titles. So there's Kid Tenero at 9, 8th on the top 10 greatest Cuban boxers. Okay, so Juan Carlos Gomez, a surprise name, but a long-reigning cruiserweight champion. Of course, he was stepped up to challenge, probably not wisely, Vitaly Klitschko, pictured. Juan Carlos Gomez beat 5 individual world champions. He scored 6 wins against champions, and he beat no Hall of Fame fighters. Gomez also scoring no wins against Hall of Famers. He did have 11 world title fight wins to his credit. Juan Carlos Gomez also made 10 title defences, and he scored 9 title fight KOs. In overall KOs for his career, Juan Carlos Gomez scored a total of 40. He was pound for pound rated for 1 year in my all-time rankings, but never pound for pound number 1 rated, and he scored no wins against pound for pound fighters and no wins against pound for pound number 1 rated fighters. So Juan Carlos Gomez comes in 8th place. When we go to 7th place, it is Joel Casamayor, a fighter from the early 2000s. Fantastic fighter he was too. I always remember his fight. It's one of my favourite fights against Acelino Freitas, the Brazilian puncher. Fantastic battle it was. Also took part in many other big fights. Now, Casamayor beat 5 world champions himself. He scored 6 wins against champions, and Casamayor beat 1 Hall of Fame fighter, scoring 2 wins against Hall of Famers overall. He scored a total of 6 title fight wins. He made 4 title defences and scored 4 title fight KOs. Joel Casamayor scored 22 knockouts in his career, and he was pound for pound rated for 1 year in my all-time rankings, but never pound for pound number 1 rated. And he scored a total of 3 wins against pound for pound fighters and 0 wins against pound for pound number 1 fighters. Casamayor captured 2 world titles. He captured 1 lineal title and 0 undisputed titles. So Casamayor in number 7. When we go to fighter number 6, okay, it is a fighter called Jose Legra. Jose Legra beat 2 world champions. He scored 2 wins against champions, and he beat no Hall of Fame fighters, also scoring no wins against Hall of Famers. He scored 2 title fight wins, Legra, in his career. He made no title defences, and he did score 2 title fight KOs. Now, in overall knockouts across his career, Legra scored a total of 49. He was pound for pound pound rated for 2 years, but he was never pound for pound number 1 rated. And Jose Allegra scored no wins against pound for pound fighters, and no wins against pound for pound number 1 fighters. Jose Allegra captured 2 world titles. He captured 1 lineal title and 0 undisputed titles. So Jose Allegra is number 6, so we go into the top 5 greatest Cuban boxers of all time. And in 5th place, okay, we have the excellent Sugar Ramos, the former featherweight champion. Sugar Ramos beat 3 world champions. He scored 3 wins against champions, and he beat 1 Hall of Fame fighter, scoring the 1 win against Hall of Famers in his career. Now, Ramos scored 4 title fight wins. He also made 3 title defences, and Sugar Ramos scored 2 title fight KOs. Now, he scored a total of 40 knockouts in his career overall, and he was pound for pound rated for 2 years in my all-time rankings. Ramos was also pound for pound number 1 rated for 0 years, and he scored 1 win against a pound for pound fighter and 1 win against a pound for pound number 1 rated fighter. Now, Sugar Ramos in world titles, he captured 2 world titles. He captured 1 lineal title and 1 undisputed title. So from Sugar Ramos we go into the big 4 Cubans to me. Okay, in 4th place, he's one of the best welterweight and middleweight contenders of his era, Luis Manuel Rodriguez. Now, Luis Rodriguez, okay, beat 6 world champions individually. He scored 8 wins against champions, and he beat 2 Hall of Fame fighters, scoring 2 wins against Hall of Famers in his career. Now, Rodriguez scored 1 title fight win. He made 0 title defences, and he scored 0 title fight KOs. And he also, like another Cuban on the list we've covered, scored 49 knockouts in his career. Now, Luis Rodriguez was pound for pound rated in my all-time rankings for 6 individual years. He was never pound for pound number 1 rated, but he did also score 8 wins against pound for pound fighters and 4 wins against pound for pound number 1 fighters. Luis Rodriguez captured 1 world title, 1 lineal title and 1 undisputed title, of course, of at welterweight, of course, where he took the title off Emil Griffith before then losing it to the great Emil Griffith. So there is Luis Rodriguez in 4. When we go to 3rd place on the top 10 greatest Cubans, we find it is the excellent Cuban bonbon Kid Chocolate. Now, Kid Chocolate, okay, beat 5 world champions. He scored 6 wins against champions. And Kid Chocolate beat 2 Hall of Fame fighters individually, scoring 3 wins against Hall of Famers overall. He scored a total of 9 world title fight wins. He made 7 title defences, and he scored 3 title fight KOs. Now, Kid Chocolate just passed the half-century mark in KOs, coming in with a total of 51, and he was pound for pound rated for 3 years in my all-time rankings, but he was never pound for pound number 1 rated. Kid Chocolate scored 6 wins against pound for pounders overall, and he scored 0 wins against pound for pound number 1 fighters. Another thing Kid Chocolate has is a massive dearth of fights against the top contenders of his time, of which he won many. Now, Kid Chocolate captured 3 world titles in his career. He captured 1 lineal title and 1 undisputed title. So, Kid Chocolate is number 3, just ahead of Luis Rodriguez. When we go to number 2, okay, it is the great welterweight champion and top 10 all-time welterweight in my rankings, Jose Napoles. Now, Napoles, okay, beat 5 individual world champions. He scored 6 wins against champions. And Napoles beat 3 Hall of Fame fighters, scoring 4 wins against Hall of Famers overall. And he has a large title fight record, okay, mainly fighting for the undisputed title. Napoles scored 15 title fight wins. He also made an impressive 13 title defences and scored 9 title fight KOs. Now, Napoles scored a total of 54 knockouts in his career, and he was pound for pound rated for double digits, okay, 10 individual years in my all-time rankings. Napoles was pound for pound rated. He was also pound for pound number 1 rated for 2 years in my all-time rankings. And Napoles, like Luis Rodriguez, scored 8 wins against pound for pound fighters, and he scored 4 wins against pound for pound number 1 fighters. And Napoles captured 4 world titles. He captured 2 lineal titles and 2 undisputed titles, all at welterweight. A bit like Carlos Monzon and Bob Foster, 2-time undisputed champions in their division. So there is Jose Napoli's at number 2. So Martin is completely right. Okay, the number 1 Cuban-born boxer of all time in my new rankings is the great Cuban hawk, Kid Gavilan. Now, Kid Gavilan, okay, beat 4 world champions. He scored 6 wins against champions. And Gavilan beat 4 Hall of Fame fighters, scoring 7 wins against Hall of Famers overall. Gavilan scored 8 title fight wins. He made 7 title defences, and he scored 2 title fight KOs. Gavilan scored 28 knockouts in his career, and he was pound for pound rated for a total of 6 years in my all-time rankings, and he was pound for pound number 1. Okay, he's in a small club of fighters who have been pound for pound number 1 for 3 or more years in my all-time rankings. So Gavilan also scored an impressive tally of 13 wins against pound for pound fighters and scored 3 wins against pound for pound number 1 fighters. And titles won, of course, he captured 1 world title, 1 lineal title and 1 undisputed title. Gavilan, of course, twice fought Robinson, once in a non-title fight, once in a fight for world welterweight title. And when Robinson went to middleweight, Gavilan for a time took over as the best welterweight in the world. So he was a top-ranked fighter at welterweight. So Kid Gavilan tops this top 10. Okay, coming next will be another fantastic top 10. Okay, featuring the top 10 greatest Filipino boxers. Okay, boxers from the Philippines. So that will be the next top 10 coming over the coming few weeks. But yeah, I always enjoy it when I cover countries like Cuba, when I cover Panama later, when I cover Argentina. I always enjoy covering the countries, you know, we don't really hear much. I'm also going to do some regional top 10s, so I'll do the top 10 greatest North American fighters, the top 10 South American, top 10 African, top 10 European, top 10 Asian, Pacific, you know, etc. So many more top 10s to come. Okay, the top 10s by region will also be included on this playlist, whereas these are by country. The other top 10s on the playlist, this playlist will be by continent, so to speak. So that will mix it up a little bit. So there is my latest video. The next one, like I said, watch out for that, will be the top 10 greatest Filipino boxers of all time. Probably most people can guess who the number 1 is. It's not too difficult. But the rest, it's a mix, okay? And we'll see how they come out in my new rankings. So, big shout out to Martin. I hope you're well, buddy. I hope you're doing good. As always, it's always a pleasure to see you. To everyone else, there's my top 10 Cuban-born boxers of all time. I'll be doing a career video later today. Yeah, Martin, I think as well, it was just an idea I had because, you know, as I'm powering down the graph charts, at some point they're going to finish. I'm just starting to get the videos ready for Super Feather. I'm already working on featherweights. So at some point that'll finish. So as well as I just need more videos aside from career videos. So as one project nears completion, other videos will step in. I'll do another type of video just to build my channel out. I'm starting from scratch. So, you know, it's hard work building a channel from scratch. I had, you know, a lot of videos on my other channel, but you know, I will get there. It just takes time. But I've also got to diversify my content a bit from career videos. So the graph charts on ring points is one, the top 10 born by country and now by region is another, and I'll come out with other video formats as certain projects finish, so to complement my career videos. So there's the top 10 Cuban boxers of all time. I'm the Boxing Librarian. I'm out for now.